Yes, I was bullied as a child of 10. It was traumatic, it was difficult, and I was forced to change schools as a result to escape it, but I'm fine. I hadn't thought of my bully in years until Taylor Swift's new song, Thank You, Amy, came out just recently. And if you don't know, it's about her bully. I'm not going to get into what Taylor's experience was, but her bully responded with a get over it, it was a long time ago response, which is a typical bully response, which just makes me think that that bully has not grown or changed over any of the years since the bullying episode. And that is also a typical bully characteristic. Now, I'm not a Swiftie or anything, but I'm definitely on Team Swift in this instance, because when a bully says, get over it, move on, that's easy for them. They weren't affected by their behavior. As a matter of fact, they may even have benefited from their behavior. For the bullied person, the victim, that experience was negative and harmful and toxic, and it stays with you. I dealt with my bully almost 50 years ago. I'm turning 59 this year, and I was 10 when I was bullied. No, I never had it out with her. There was never any resolution. And I haven't forgiven her, and I haven't forgotten her, and I don't think that I should. And as I said, it was a Taylor Swift song that brought the memory of my bullying back up. So it's not like she's living rent-free in my head, but I do keep her in a corner, and she stays there because that's where I want her. I didn't want to be bullied. I did not like being bullied. I don't think I deserved to be bullied. But it happened, and I would not be the same person that I am today if it were not for bullying. As sad as that sounds, but here are some of the things being bullied taught me. Just like having diverse income streams, separate income streams, having diverse friend groups can ensure that you are never feeling completely isolated if one set of friends or one friend starts acting like a bully. At the end of grade 4, I was identified as a special student, we'll say, and given the opportunity to skip a grade or to go to an advancement class, but it was at a different school than the school that I was attending currently, or I could just stay at my school with my friends and go to regular grade 5. Now, my parents, to their credit, looked at all of the options and then asked me what I wanted to do. And even then, I see that I was always saying yes to a new adventure, yes to the unknown, and yes, I chose to the new school, to the advancement class, and see what that's all about. Even though it meant taking a bus, quite a long ride on a bus, and not a school bus, but a city bus, to the new school and then walk quite a way. My parents were not really apprehensive at all about their 10-year-old daughter taking a city bus across the city. They were more worried that I would get lost. Again, the 70s. I said yes to the new adventure, yes to the new school, and cue the bullying, of course. As the new girl at this new school, I didn't have my own friend group. I was alone, basically. And this bullying girl isolated me, ostracized me, and the rest of the class just followed along with her. Classic bullying. I mean, I was a little bit socially awkward, I guess, and definitely naive. I hadn't met a lot of people. I was only 10. So I just thought everybody was nice and everybody would want to be friends. Boy, was I wrong. That was a difficult year, grade 5. But I had my friends still in my neighborhood at home. During weekends, we still played, and I still had them as a friend group, even if things were a little bit cooled off. And I had also started swimming on a swim team, a competitive swim team. And we had practice 3 times a week, and so those kids also became my friends. And none of these people knew anything about the isolation that I was going through at school every day. They just liked me for being me. Now, at the age of 10, you don't plan on having diverse friend groups to save you from bullies. But that's what happened. And I recognized that later. And I recognized that that would be a good thing to have diverse friend groups so that you could never be isolated in the way that the bully tried to isolate me. So now I have water polo friends, and I have neighborhood friends, and I have pottery friends, and I have reading friends, and I have friends from childhood. I have friends from university. I have friends from all different walks of life. And I generally don't mix those friends. They never meet each other. And I don't know whether that's intentional on my part, unconsciously, or not. But I have very distinct friend groups and lots of them. And having diverse friend groups means that you always have someone to talk to, someone for support, someone just to have a glass of wine with. And I can hear the comments already coming down from people who are regular viewers of the videos on my channel or subscribers. Please subscribe. Gee, you have a lot of friends for an introvert. And yes, I am an introvert, and yes, I have friends. Introverts have friends. I just don't hang out with them a lot of the time, but they are still my friends, and I can still call them and talk to them and email them and meet up whenever I feel like. So if you're new here, I am Jen, and I make videos about my life and adventures as an introvert and a 50-something silver and solo pre-retirement Gen Xer. The second thing that I learned from being bullied is that you should always figure out whose opinions mean the most to you. After that, anyone else expressing an opinion can be politely ignored. As a new YouTuber and one who is pretty transparent about the process that I've gone through, I get a lot of questions about how to create a channel, how to get monetized, but also, am I not afraid of mean people and trolls and haters making not so nice comments on my videos? And I mean, am I afraid of those people? No, I'm not afraid of them. Do I like having those types of people on my comments? No, also not. But also, those people are not on my list of people whose opinions matter to me, and so I don't care. The only people in my life whose opinions count are people that I have already decided upon. People that I know and trust, people who are honest and responsible, intelligent, and have my best interests in mind. They're people of character and integrity. Random people on the internet and on the street, I can politely ignore, and I do. The third thing that I learned about bullying, or from bullying, is that indifference is the best defense. There's something to be said for standing up for yourself, but I've found that the best defense against a bully is a failure to give them what they want, which is a reaction. Shrugging off their needles and barbs, going about your day unperturbed and unaffected is the best way to deal with impolite people. I'm not talking about letting someone physically assault you. I'm talking about words. If they're assaulting you with words, let them fall off your back like rain off a duck's back. People like this don't deserve a thoughtful response, and giving them an off-the-cuff reply just feeds the confrontation and extends it even longer. Nip it in the bud quickly and without prejudice. Be done with it. The fourth thing I learned from being bullied is that you are never powerless completely in a confrontation. There is always a way out. I have learned that the longer you are in a negative confrontation, the worse it's going to be for you, for me. Because generally, I don't start negative confrontations. It's someone else starting it. And once someone starts it, it's their game. Playing their game is a no-win situation. There are people out there who do not want to resolve a situation or solve a conflict. They want to be angry. They want to be seen to be angry, and they want to assign blame. Understanding this helped me immeasurably, especially at work when toxic coworkers were forever trying to find out who did what, who did this, whose fault is this, where is the blame, all of these types of phrases and language that they use to try and bully and blame. As soon as I hear language like that, I immediately understand that the person using that language is afraid. And they are very desperately trying to point the finger at someone else quickly before someone points the finger at them. And I find refocusing the conversation works probably 90% of the time. Either suggesting that we solve the problem now and focus on assigning blame later, or suggesting dividing up into teams, one to find the source of the problem and one to solve it. And put your bully on finding the person to blame, and you somehow find your way onto the team working to solve the problem. I have found that in almost every negative confrontation in a workplace setting, it's not about me, it's about the other person's fear and insecurity. I always try to stay calm and reframe the problem away from blame and bluster and more towards reason and resolution. 90% of the time that works. The fifth thing that I learned is that powerful people are just people. Titles are given or bestowed. CEO, Prime Minister, President. They can be fired, they can be voted out, even a king can be deposed. Make people respect you and earn your respect. I'm not saying tell them this a little bit, but rather don't place a person with a certain title or position or status up on a pedestal in your mind until they've earned it. Athletes and entrepreneurs have usually earned the recognition and responsibilities that they have. But the average person in a executive position at a company, in a management position at a company or an organization, has usually just stuck it out until they were the last man standing or managed their way to the top. And there's nothing really special about that. And a lot of those kind of people figure that now they've reached the pinnacle of their career. All of the stuff that they had to put up with, the horrible behavior that they had to put up with to get where they are, is now exactly what you peons down below me deserve to get. And that's just a big nope. I would tell aggressive coworkers or executives that I disagreed with their assessment of the situation and that I would go along with them because they are in charge as long as my objections and reasons were noted in the minutes of that meeting. If we weren't in a meeting, it was a completely verbal exchange with just the two of us, then I would write an email outlining exactly what had been said, outlining my objections and the reasons, and again, asking them to rethink their position. And a lot of the time, I got not everything that I wanted, but at least I got them to rethink their position, and they softened a lot of the harder edges of it. Workplace bullies want their own way all the time. They think they're the smartest person in the room, and that company culture dictates that they are the ones who decide things, and no one can lodge an objection once they've decided. And again, nope. That's very toxic. In the workplace, I find taking yourself out of the equation and not taking things personally, whether they're meant to be personal or not, really helps diffuse a bullying situation. But bullies are the same everywhere. They only have power because people give it to them. A bully without a supportive audience is a weakling. Don't give unworthy people power. If it's impossible to refocus them or take yourself out of the line of fire, then it's probably time to walk away from a job, from a situation, from a relationship, whatever. The sixth thing that I've learned from being bullied is that I am more empathetic now. I can spot a bully easily, and I'm more prone to stepping in and foiling their plans. I'm also less judgmental, and I'm more open-minded and inclusive. Having been bullied myself, I know what it's like to be excluded for no good reason. I try not to do that intentionally to anyone. I also speak up when I see a bully. They're more likely to stop if an audience member disagrees with them. And again, I'm not saying that I physically intervene, but vocally, from safety and with my voice. That works just as well. All bullies are cowards. If you stand up to them, they crumble. The seventh thing I learned from being bullied is that you cannot change yourself to avoid being bullied. The bully will just change their tactics. It's the bully that has the problem, not me. I'm just tootling along, being my best self, trying to do the right thing, living my life. If someone out there wants to judge me, wants to judge the way I live, judge the things I do or don't do, then that's on them, that's not on me. And I'm not in charge of resolving their problems for them, and I'm not going to jump through hoops to avoid upsetting an unstable and insecure person. And the eighth thing that I learned from being bullied, and I didn't say this, I saw it written somewhere and I don't know who said it. You can't wrestle demons without becoming stronger in the process. Every hardship and every setback that I overcome makes me stronger and makes the next hardship easier to overcome. Every obstacle in my way that I outthink and I avoid makes the next obstacle less of an obstacle. I wouldn't be the person I am, I wouldn't be where I am in life if I hadn't had to deal with all of the toxic, difficult, horrible crap and reaching the age of almost 59. I'm a more confident and stronger person because of the struggles that I've had in my life. And now I'm in Act 3 of my life, and all of the hard work and all of the difficult times, all of that is coming home to roost comfortably because nothing really phases me anymore. I know I can weather any storm because I have the experience and the ability and the wisdom built up over years that allows me to tell the difference between a tempest and a drizzle. No drama, no toxic people in my life. It is all smooth sailing. Let me know in the comments of the positives that you've taken away from the toxic people and bullies in your life.